Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. We are back. Ladies and gentlemen around the world, wrestling fans, comic book fans, multimedia fans, whatever kind of fans right there around America, around the world, around the universe, across the multiverse and infinite parallel dimensions. As always, I'm your man, the Big Boss, Big Boss, EKB, owner family, the EKB Productions. We are live back in the newly built. I have to keep saying that because it's fresh. I'm glad you're here. EKB Productions Studio. And we are so glad you could join us for episode installment number 3, volume 3, whatever you want to call it, of the EKB TTS Podcast, where EKB talks that shit and dabbing into all sorts of shit that's in the news, in the media, on the internet. What we do here live in our own, within our universe and an expanded universe. And we are proud to hear, as we sit down, I have a little snack. This episode is brought to you in part by Haagen-Dazs. Yes, go get your favorite flavor. It's worth it right there. Thank you. Yes. So, as always, I'm not joined at the table alone right there. You know, we try to mix it up week to week. As always, is my faithful coop. It's just one of my junior producers right here. Yes, Billy is on the other side of the table. Yes, tell him, hey, Billy.
G'day, how are you all doing today? I am wide awake and ready to chat.
Awesome right there. And yes, and a couple right there. We have a few surprise guests that we're gonna bring in today. We'll get to those in about a minute as we get around to the secondary topic right there. For now, I want to get right into the action as we'll start with our first topic of the day. Yes, which is following up on the recent announcements as regards to what we're doing with NXT's Great American Bash. It's sure to be a sold-out show, a natural blowout, and we're excited that you guys get to be a part of that and experience it right there. As you know, I'm a super patriot, and so it's our late 4th of July celebration right there. Every NXT championship, with the exception of the tag team division, is being defended, and it's going to be great with the NXT Junior Heavyweight Championship on the line, the NXT North American Championship on the line, currently held by Tyler Bate against Tony D'Angelo. The continuation of the Best of 7 series with regards to Carmelo Hayes versus Austin Theory is continuing. And finally, of course, as you know, the big main event of this will be Johnny Gargano taking on Braun Breaker. Yeah, Johnny wrestling versus Steiner math right there, I guess, is what they're building it up to be. And I'm sure that'll be most interesting. Yes. So now that I've refilled everybody in right there, why don't we take a chance to make sure the audience can see us. I want to make sure everyone can see what we're doing here. Don't want anyone to miss. Make sure if you want to get involved in what we do here, where they want to get it live on the action, just make sure that you drop a comment in the comment section below, because we want everybody to be involved. Share that so everyone can see it. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and comment. Sorry about this. I'm not the fastest typer in the world when it comes to this sort of stuff.
Speaking of the Great American Bash, as we were discussing that earlier, with the battle of Johnny Gargano versus Braun Breaker, a bit of a brains versus brawn type of thing there. How do you foresee that match going? I'm seeing that Braun is going to be way too much power for Johnny Gargano to be able to compete with. He may be smart enough the tactics, but the pure raw strength and explosive of a Bron Breaker is tough to match. And I don't care how good you are up in the head, you can't match that. It's like playing chess against a goddamn computer. It's playing chess against stockfish, basically. You can't beat it. What do you guys think?
I never played
Yes,
chess against no. I never played chess against no fish. I don't know what the fuck that you talking about fish, but yeah, but it's gonna be a great match. I'm focused on more of the match quality rather than the David Goliath story that's clearly being put into effect here. It's a matter of technique versus ferocity, I think is the exact analysts I can give. I'd be satisfied personally speaking from a fan's perspective. I'd be satisfied if either one of these men walk away with the title. I think I'd be satisfied with that. Oh, wait, we have a comment below right there. I told you, get involved in what we do. You can watch live and make comments or questions below right there. We love to get the audience involved. We'll shout it out live on the air so everybody can see it. From username someone that's SOMEONE6199. He says W posters. Thank you. I only just got these about 2 weeks ago. I actually just bought these right there and put them on the wall. Yeah, I don't like the background. I don't like my background to be empty. Like you can't see those, but there's posters on this wall. You see the photo of Stan Lee, the poster for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the Superman magnet that I've had since I was 4 years old. That's been on our fridge, but I took it with me when I moved. Right there. And then for one of my favorite new movies right there, Transformers Rise of the Beast. This is one of my favorites. I get these every time I go see a movie premiere. They give me to those free for being a premium member with early access. I really like that. Yeah, that's a good feature. So I just put those in my studio. I also got this one. You see, you can't see it because it's still in the plastic. But if you can see there, it's Spider-Man. This is Spider-Man Miles Morales Into the Spider-Verse. It's an Into the Spider-Verse poster. I'm going to put that up when I get the chance. I haven't had a chance to, because I'm constantly setting up I don't know if you could tell, I'm constantly setting up the studio. Like you can see, my hats, my PlayStation, all the games here. This desk is new, the chair is new, computer, the new monitors and stuff. So I'm constantly setting up the studio. I'm always trying to give the audience the best experience right there. Now, we got another comment. Yeah, from bad_news Bruce. What's your most exciting match this campaign if you had the Great American Bash? That is an easy question. I'm excited about every match at the Great American Bash simply because that's the point of why I love what I do, the way I book things, because I build it with such anticipation and such hype, and every match seems like it could exceed the expectations, even if the expectation is high. I don't think people realize that every match has the potential to steal the show. There's no such thing as this match is going to be lame, this match is going to be fire. Every match could be fire. Anybody can be a breakout star, and that's what most people don't get. And that's what I tell people when they first join. The difference between what I do and the way I book and the way that these other leagues do their business is simple. It's just a simple matter of they'll put on whatever, and it could be whatever. What I do is I say, I'm not afraid to measure my product against anybody else's. This is the best. All these matches will kill. This can be great. It's all a matter of what you put into it. If you give it value, then it has value, and that's what we keep doing. We put quality over quantity.
Speaking of quality over quantity, with our matches that we do, we see that we normally have a fairly large match card. Have you ever considered the possibility of having a smaller match card with longer matches. Have you considered that as a option?
I think we saw an
within
example.
the
We've
not too
seen
distant
recent
future?
examples of that because of the change into the guard so much. You see the last couple of episodes that we put out in our content wall on Twitch as well as the YouTube channel, which I encourage everybody to watch if you weren't able to see it on Twitch because it didn't save the video on demand. You can see videos on demand on the YouTube channel anytime, and those videos date all the way back 3 years ago to when we're finally able to save the video, so you can go back and watch there. But you've seen it on the NXT special, on the showcase special. We were doing 3 or 4 matches with about 20 to 25 minute time limits. Even though it was a shorter card, even though the quality is always high, the quality seemed to pick up right there. And I know that for a fact as a wrestling fan. Fans like a longer card because it means you get to see more stars, but they hate it. The way it drags. Every year WrestleMania, you're like, oh God, I got to sit through a 9.5 hour show just to see if the guy I wanted to win is going to win at the end in the main event. It drags on and on. Then they start talking online. This is the piss break match, and this match wasn't that great. Why did they put that on the main card? Pre-show arguments and all these other things. And so I think that there is something to be said about short match card. That's why I always put it. If you notice very carefully, I always try to do 5 per card, 5 matches per card. Even that you maybe do 2 men matches, 2 women's matches, and a tag team matches. 5 slots, unless you need to change up something, in which case you might substitute, because a different division needs more shine or something. You might do 2 of one type of match or 2 of more, depending on what you kind of do. And that's the way I do it. I try to mix it up as much as I possibly can. Do that. But that's a good question.
Now, speaking of wanting to give divisions a shine there, what division do you think will be the breakout division over the next 12 months?
Well, that goes back to what I just said. That could literally be any division. There is never. It comes back to investment. What are the stars investing in it? How much creative is put in it, and then how much the fans want to invest in it is the ultimate determinant factor. If I see something's picking up steam, like if an act really picks up, regardless of the division, then that's where the focus goes, because that's where most wrestling promotions fuck up. They don't strike while the iron's hot. You gotta get on something hot while it's still a trend right there. Even if it's a fad, take advantage of it while you can. That's how Sami Zayn got to the position he's in now. Hanging in just long enough, waving a flag long enough, and getting just hot enough to where he was back when he was first started in NXT to get to the point where now he's considered to be a main event player. That's the key. You gotta know where to lean.
Now, speaking of companies not striking while the iron is hot, we're considering LA Knight's treatment on the most recent SmackDown, as well as Money in the Bank, with him not getting the push that fans desperately desire. What are your opinions on the future of LA Knight?
From what I understand, I don't know if I'm giving too much inside information, but speaking as a person who's got the inside track, from what I understand, his push is delayed until after SummerSlam. That's what. Yeah, that's what I'm understanding. So him losing made sense in that regard. Okay, push you off. You can come in, say your catchphrases every week, but you gotta wait till after SummerSlam until your push comes in. I think I'm mad a little bit because SummerSlam is one of the big 4, and so it would be easy to just have him face Theory, have him beat him humiliatingly, and then just have him have that big moment. But if you got a story you want to tell and you think your story to tell can blow the roof off even more than it could at SummerSlam, I'm all for it. But I hope they do give him something to do at SummerSlam, because I think the crowd, imagine that, 83,000 people screaming on their feet, just screaming, yeah, that'll get over. Okay, we got another question from the audience.
I have a question too.
Okay,
So,
hold on. I gotta read the
how would you
audiences. I
feel
gotta read the
like?
audience questions. Hold on, man. Hold on.
So,
Stinger to
I
the
mean, like,
child. Okay.
if
What?
LA Knight was
Hold
very
up,
good,
hold up, man. Damn. All right, yeah. So from Stinger underscore Death Drop 27, how do you feel about B&B back in NXT? Is this where he belongs? Barrett coming back to NXT is a big thing because he's been away for so long and doing the commentary. And we've always had a good time. I have a personal relationship with him. So I'm very, very happy that to have him back. And I think that this run will probably be the run that finally gets him to the top and keeps him there. So I'm expecting nothing but big things about him right here. And NXT is everybody's home. So the question is where he belongs right here is, right here. Because this is where it all began right here. And I'm happy about that. So thank you for the question. Anybody else had a question? Somebody else had a question? Question? I know somebody else was trying to ask right there. Now this is the time. It's an open forum. Oh wait, I got it. Oh, somebody else might have said something. Hold on, I gotta read this sideways so that way I know what was said. I'm sorry. Okay, someone wrote here. I heard that Grayson Waller once won a match without moving from the corner. He truly is one of the greatest NXT has to offer. What are your thoughts on Grayson Waller? Lord have mercy. The thing about Grayson Waller, Grayson Waller truly is one of what you call a generational talent. And I'm happy to have him here. And speaking outside of kayfabe, I know for a certain amount of facts from all the insider trading right there that they expect big things from him. He had a moment with John Cena out of the blue at Money in the Bank in England, and then came home to have a moment with Edge where he got a rub in Law. So I am nothing but the best, nothing for the best for Grayson Waller. Him and LA Knight, I think there's a reason they kind of clicked when they had their feud. Like the first major feud that LA Knight had when NXT became 2.0 was with Grayson Waller. I think there's a reason for that, and there's a reason that their characters and personalities just click so well is because they're kind of coming from the same cloth right there. The only difference is one is American and older. That's about it. They both dial their personality straight up to 11 right there. And I think, if anything...
And the other one's from the greatest country in the world. Good old Australia.
Shut up. Yes, now... I think, hell... creatively speaking, I'd give LA Knight his own TV show and have him compete with airtime with Waller. I think that would make a great storyline. I thought that's what I would do right there. That was bugging, man. Because that's what people
Bring
love.
back the Dummy Yeah podcast, eh?
They'd love to
The
hear
Dummy
him
Yeah.
talk. So, let me talk to you. That's what we like. So there's that. Anyway, let me see. I'm sending back all the fan mail as we go. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, and that's the best I can say about Grayson Waller.
Now, I'm guessing you've seen the last episode of SmackDown.
Yes, I watched it the other day.
What are your thoughts on all the NXT cameos? I believe there were 10 NXT wrestlers that showed up on SmackDown.
Yes, there were a bunch of them. Well,
what are your opinions on that?
as we know, the Creed brothers were already gone from NXT, so them being there is not a surprise. Carmelo and Trick have been making appearances everywhere, so that's not a surprise either. I think the goal, and it's rightfully so, is to get more hype and attention on NXT, as at the same time prepare the main roster audience for the NXT superstars coming in. And I like that. Nick Khan, who's the president of WWE, had the right idea when he decided he was gonna put more investment and have more interaction between the main roster and NXT right there. I don't think that hurts NXT one little bit. I just don't like it when the main roster superstars humiliate or try to upstage NXT talent. That's the only thing that I would change right there. So there's that.
And speaking of main roster talent going down to NXT and winning matches, the North American champion, Dominic Mysterio.
No.
I was just about to ask that.
No.
Not a fan of Dirty Dom?
No. No one is. What the fuck? Moving on.
No one.
Anybody?
I'm one of those people.
Shut up, damn stupid caller. Now, next question.
No, did you hear what happened when, like, July 4th, he got booed at a restaurant?
Next question.
Look, he shouldn't be getting booed. He is a reformed convict. He's changed man.
Yeah, but that's in show, but not in real life. He got booed in real life. When he was just trying to enjoy life, eating lunch.
With Ray Ray?
Yeah, it was everyone in Judgment Day. He went to seafood.
Damn. It's sad when some people don't know how to treat other humans properly.
Mm-hmm. Especially Dominic.
That was seen with John Cena as well. He was trying to have a nice meal and people were trying to interrupt it. I think people need to treat celebrities like they're regular human beings instead of idolizing them. It's kind of sad the way this world is.
Yeah.
But also, speaking of the way the world is, have you seen some of the forest fires that have been happening?
Oh, God.
There's been, and the heat waves, all of these climate issues going on around the world.
Yeah.
How do you feel about how the world leaders have been responding to the climate issues?
Pathetically. But what else is new?
What did you say? I didn't hear you.
Pathetically.
What do you see this Discord server like in like a year?
Still successful.
Yeah, in a year.
And more successful, I think.
Hopefully more streamlined.
Yeah.
Hopefully more streamlined.
The goal is always to get to the main to get into the mainstream consciousness and to raise awareness of what we're doing right there. The main problem with the product is not the product itself or the quality of the product, it's getting eyes on the product. That's why we constantly encourage the audience to like, share, subscribe, comment. And if you're a part of what we do, then don't just participate in the sense that you work here, but share those work experiences with others to encourage other people to get involved, or to the very least become a fan. There is one in particular. I think disagree. That one episode that
I heavily disagree. The main problem isn't getting eyes on the product. The main problem is our turnover rate of talent. There's an issue every couple of days. Someone leaves, someone gets fired. There's a fight every time. There's too much infighting. Someone that needs to be fixed. We can't have this high turnover rate. It's like as soon as we get a champion, boom, they're gone. There's no loyalty. How many people have been here for over 3 years, haven't left, and has been consistent? 5, 6 people? But people are going in and out. It's like a revolving door. We don't want that. You want talent that are going to stay so you can actually tell stories. That's what we need to deal with. And we need to make sure talent feel happy and appreciated within the server. And based on the high turnover rate and fights and all that, it looks as if people don't feel appreciated. So that's what we need. That's hopefully the main thing that'll be fixed within the next year. The turnover rate. Because you can't ensure good quality product with this level of turnover.
I don't think
So we need to find a way to keep people happy, keep people motivated, and keep people doing their best work.
I don't.
That's the issue. That's the number one issue that needs to be fixed. And hopefully, within the next year. No, but I'm still speaking. Don't cut me off. Hopefully, within the next year, that will be dealt with. And then once that is done, we can ensure all the other external metrics will be hopefully improved upon. But we need to focus internal first. Alright, you're allowed to speak now.
What the hell you mean allowed? It's my show. Good. Anyhow, right there. Like, as I was saying, there is no quality issues right there. The personalities and clashes about who, what, when, where, who's gonna get what, I didn't get this. That stuff is natural and it happens over every season that we've been here. I think the reason that NXT has so much longevity and why the server has been around for the past 7 years is because of the fact we continuously are striving towards an ideal. We've committed ourselves to a motto and to a goal that regardless, rain, shine, it's kind of like the post office. No rain, no shine, no snow, no hail, whatever will prevent us from putting on a great quality product because we're committed to being on top of the game right there. If you want to be the best, then you got to act like the best right there. Whatever it took to get you to where you are, you got to work twice as hard to keep yourself there. And if you don't want to stay there, push yourself forward right there. These sort of things are what motivates me. If I wanted to, I could have quit and done something else a long time ago. I chose not to because I got such a passion for what I do right there. Professional wrestling is one of the things that I absolutely love. I didn't let anything prevent me from backtracking and saying, okay, that's enough. You know, I'm tired. I want to go, do something else right there. I'm still in our industry. I'm still in our business. Just like Dusty Rhodes. And WCW tried to push the blame on him for the fact that everything was terrible before it went down under. He said exactly that in the WCW documentary. He said, it didn't matter to me if I got the blame or not. I didn't care. And it's fucked up. They're the ones who did this and did that. They fucked that up. But, it wasn't me. But I didn't care that I took the blame for it simply because, hey, I'm not bitter about it. I still love this place. I'm still in our industry. And that's the way I looked at it right there. I'm not going to let what other people do or don't do or say behind the scenes and act like their entitlement problems affect me. If I spend my entire time worried about shoulda, coulda, woulda and other people's thoughts and wants and constant bitching, I would never get any work done. This place would be done. I got to continue to be forward right there. Now, as regards to talent relations right there, our talent relations department right there does leave a little bit to be desired right there. We're constantly hiring new road agents and producers and managers and agents to better resolve those issues right there. And those come with time, again, right there. You can't trust everybody to do everything. But, that's one of those growing pain things that are just never really go away. But overall, I think we'll be just fine. In a year, I see us maybe to give a metric so you have something to see visibly. I'd say I want us to reach. Here's a figure. 75. That's a good number. 75 active viewers within the next year. That is.
And what are we at now?
For live viewers, on a great day, about 25.
So you're wanting to go from 5 to 75 in a year.
A year is a good amount of time.
Once again, that's a lot of work that needs to be done. You can look at the industry average. There's a lot of work to be done in that. It's theoretically possible, but a lot of research will be needed. And once again, you'll need to focus on the turnover rate so we can ensure a quality product. But like I said, within the year, my metric that I'm hoping to see is that each person will have at least, on average, will be within the server for 6 months, on average, and will compete in at least 10 shows in that year. And maybe at least 3 promos a month. That's what I'm hoping for within the next year, on average, for talent. So we can ensure activity and quality and loyalty, of course. That's the metric that I'm hoping to see fixed within the next year. And I think that's very achievable.
Yes. Well, all things are possible right there. Like I said, there's always more work to do. Whether agree or disagree, there's always more work to be done right there, and we gotta huckle down and get it done the best as what we can right there to ensure the best quality product for you, because that's why we do it. We do it for the audience right there. So yeah, so that's what I'll be focusing on so far as the metrics are concerned.
Well, speaking of audience, I'm going to pose this question out to the audience. So if you're welcome to respond in the comments, everyone. What is a match you're wishing to see within the next year in NXT? What is a dream match for you? So everyone, you're welcome to respond. I want to see what a dream match is. You can have more than one. I want to see what you want as an audience. And everyone else here, you're welcome to answer the question as well. Braun?
I mean, since Judgment Day is kind of in NXT, maybe we could see Dragunov versus Damian Priest. Maybe. Possibly. I don't know. Thought that would be a good
Interesting
match.
That could be a good match.
Battle of hard hitting.
I can see that working. Mr. EKB, what would you want to see?
I don't.
Well, considering he's gone quiet, Braun, how about you? What would you like to see?
This is one match I think that we missed an opportunity to see for years, both in and outside kayfabe. I think that we need to see. I'd like to see Shinsuke Nakamura versus Aleister Black.
Nakamura and Aleister Black. Have we not seen that match?
No.
I mean, do we have a Nakamura and Aleister Black within the company?
No, but that's the point.
Yeah,
That's the point of a dream match. The first word is dream.
No, I'm saying, do we have them in the company?
No.
Can I think? I don't believe we do.
No, I just said no.
I guess you got some talent scouting to look for you to find some talent.
Yes. Well, we're always on the lookout for more or new talent right there, yes. Or seeing about
Hopefully good talent.
yes, or old talents, new talents, recurring talents, all sorts of talents right there.
So, on that topic, who are you hoping to see within the next 6 months be signed to NXT? Any ideas?
So far as
Either of you, you're welcome to answer.
So far as I can see with the current landscape of free agents we're looking at, I would personally like to see that Nick Aldis chap that everyone's talking about right there. That would be kind of just a Class A upgrade for NXT right there. A much needed facelift. I've also got my eye on if I turn to Japan, Sanada. After that match with Jungle Boy at the Forbidden Door pay-per-view this year, I am even more impressed than the first time I saw him pin the Rainmaker Okada. That's somebody who could be a real breakout star. And following speaking of more Japanese wrestlers, Konosuke Takeshita. Ever since that heel turn, I've been more and more. I didn't really give a damn about him as a babyface, if I'm being completely honest. But as a heel, there's just some sort of edge to him that I like, and I'm interested to explore that if I could get him signed.
So is that all that you're looking for within the next 6 months?
No, I'm looking for a bunch of people. It could be you can sign anybody at any time. I'm just saying the main people that come to mind in the immediate.
Alright. And speaking of talent within the company already, Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy. We've seen a couple of promos from them, but they've gone quiet. Are they still here? Any update on what's going on with Bray Wyatt and Uncle Howdy?
I think that's part of the gimmick. You don't really know what's going on with Bray Wyatt or Uncle Howdy. They quickly as a rising sun, they are gone. Like a candle in the wind, as Elton John would say.
Alright. So, do you feel like we will see Bray Wyatt have his debut match sometime in the future, like in the near future?
I believe we're gonna. Well, once again, I don't really know, but when Bray talks again, I have a feeling we'll get an update about when and what we're gonna do, and we'll act accordingly. And same goes for Uncle Howdy.
Alright. Now with Thursday Night Turbo, we've seen that it's just a bunch of fun matches basically to give people a chance of exposure. Has there been any proper standout stars that you've seen within Thursday Night Turbo?
No, but then again, it's only been a couple of weeks, so I guess we'll continue to, as I hear this term a lot, we'll have those same growing pains. We'll see who really begins to break out from the pack of the mold. But I see there's been a recent development with Rich Holland who I've always been deeply impressed with, and he's been doing some great work down there. So that's something to be proud of.
And Ridge Holland, we've seen him separate from his alliance with Sheamus. We've seen him face Johnny Gargano in a title match in a sadly unsuccessful effort. What's next for Ridge?
Continuing to strive for that perfection, for that mark. I think Big Ridge the Fridge is one of the most determined and focused young athletes we have on the roster, and I'm fully supportive of his endeavors to be a champion at some point in his career. And I think with more time, more prayer, than more work, then yeah, I think it's possible. There's a reason I think Johnny handpicked him to be his opponent at the last takeover. I think he saw something that a lot of us saw in him, and that's something to also be proud of. To have that rub from a veteran champion like that is not easy. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we've seen a bunch of new match types introduced within 2K23, i.e. the War Games match.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we'll ever see a War Games match within NXT? In EKB's NXT?
There's, I don't ever like to speak in terms of the affirmative or negative until I'm ready to. So I will say that, well, we always say anything is possible in professional wrestling. So yeah, I'd say keep your head on. You never know what we're gonna come up with or when we're gonna come up with it. But I think fans will be pleasantly surprised at the things we have in store within the next few months to a year or so. Yeah.
All right. And is there anything else you want to speak about today? Anything else you want to spend this time to promote or talk about?
Yes. I recently, this is a little bit of an older news, but I felt I needed to talk about it because I was so taken with it right there. As you know, I'm a big follower of I love the comic books. That's just my other love right there. And speaking about all the Marvel series that I've seen, I never watched, because this wasn't a series, this was like a short special, like a short little movie. The one they call Werewolf by Night. Marvel Studios' Werewolf by Night. I never saw that one. Because I usually watch it on the day of, but I kept, delay, and then the personal tragedy happened, so more delay. I never thought about I'll get to it. And I was going to delay it up until like Halloween, but I was like, while I got this time off, let me watch it to see what it's all about. And as for people that know me, although I can write a good horror story, because that's part of writing, you have to be able to write from every perspective and every genre, I'm not a horror movie fan. I don't know if people realize that. And so when I saw it, it clearly wasn't written like a comic book. It was written like a horror film, but had, hints of comic book stuff here and there, But it's mainly more like Dungeons and Dragons, magical crystals and beasts from another dimension and, monster slayers and werewolves and hunters and things like that. And I said, and the art form of how they did it, like how everything's black and white and it eventually turns to color, just blew me away. I said, Lord have mercy. That's nice. That's something I would have wrote. Because I wrote some Monster Tale stuff from a different perspective that I another project I'm working on. I can't talk too much about right now, but yeah, and it made me think, damn, that's something I would have wrote, because that was pretty good. I like that. They even had some cases of like a cheesy, what you would call a rom-com effect to it, like in certain scenes. But I was like, I don't even mind that because it just fits right in, kind of like a glove. And so I had to give a shout out to that. That's one of the last things they put out from Marvel Studios so far as TV and TV specials. And I liked it. I liked that a lot right there. If I was to get, once again, since we're talking about these lists, and I'll put out more lists as this podcast progresses on a lot of different topics, but if I were to list all the Marvel Studios TV shows, Disney Plus shows that were great, and put them in order, for me personally, this is just IMHO. You don't have to take me at face value, but if you do, I would appreciate it. That's great. But I'd say personally, WandaVision was the first, was number one. Loki was number two. Moon Knight, number three. And then after that, it seems ridiculous to list all these. And then Moon Knight, I just said that. Moon Knight, and then Werewolf by Night would be right after Moon Knight. And then there's Miss Marvel, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and then She-Hulk. Which all in their own way seem so damn horrible to me, right there. Miss Marvel being too childish and too cheesy. She-Hulk being too damn overly cartoonish. CGI was awful. And she's nothing like it's a bad sign when fans are constantly going back to not even stuff from comic books, but they're going back to stuff from television. If you get a chance, I know a lot of our audience is Disney fans. If you get a chance, go back and watch the last season of the Incredible Hulk animated series from 92, 94, 95. Go watch the last season where She-Hulk comes in, because it at the end it's called The Incredible Hulk and She-Hulk. Jennifer Walters in that show, in that series, that's the real Jennifer Walters. That's how she should have been depicted when they did the live action thing. That was horrible. Especially now I don't mind the whole dating thing. That was fine. Because that kind of fits her personality a little bit. I laughed at that, especially her fucking with fucking Daredevil. That was like a little off-putting, because Daredevil seems like such a serious character, even though he has romantic interests because of Elektra. But I don't mind that. It's good to have you gotta have a little bit of comedy in your comic books. So I don't mind that. But everything else was horrible. Especially at the end, when they made the joke, oh, Kevin is this, and Kevin Feige is the head of Marvel Studios. It's an inside joke, but most people get that joke. And it's like, no. Her being like Deadpool and having that fourth wall power, I don't mind that at all, because it does fit her character. But she's using it in all the wrong fucking ways. And the jokes are, like some people say some jokes are hit or miss. Those jokes were all misses. I did not like it, and I don't care for it. And the whole ending was just rewritten because of that conversation with Kevin, and they just worked to the fact where everybody gets arrested, and she goes home and then prosecutes them the next day. Like she's some hero. That's it. That's horrible. That is terrible. And this is supposed to be Bruce's quote-unquote replacement if they don't end up doing the World War Hulk storyline, which I hope they do. Because they need to do a Hulk solo film with Mark Ruffalo. I really think they need to do that. And I think they're struggling with that only because, especially now with this writer strike, they can't get into negotiation with Universal Studios to get the rights back to the Hulk, which they need to get fully done and finish that movie and do that. So if I were to list those, it would be then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, then Miss Marvel, and then She-Hulk right there. She's literally the last one and the most terrible because it's just awful. I know some people, me and my associate who I run who actually is one of the executive producers of this, of my production company, EKB Productions, Anthony Scalaviccia, who's my best friend. I will always shout him out right there. He's a Marvel Mark, who recently now, because of my investment in him and our friendship, has become more of also a universal comic fan like DC and Marvel. He said, I ain't got no problem with y'all. I like y'all. And I just couldn't understand why he was so enamored with that. And I think it's because people are so used to trying to protect that brand up there. They're trying to protect that. And so they're getting so used to their going this comedy route, especially with Disney's recent shakeup in management, insisting that they go more to a kid-friendly, universally Disney sort of setting, which is not the way they need to go at all. Because it just doesn't work for every character, and you've distorted every product if you do that. That's why I like the fact that they let James Gunn on his way out the door. He literally already had the job as CEO of the competition when he worked on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, and that's one of the best movies in Phase 4. The best movie in Phase 4. What the fuck? I said, but they allowed him to do what he wanted to do. He said, that's your product. Finish the way you started. We're not going to interfere with the product. When you allow creative people who already have a vision to enact their vision, you support them in the way they ask to be supported right there, you, more often than not, I'd say about a good 7 out of 10 times, end up with a highly successful product. And I think that's what most people don't get, and I think that's what Disney, well, not Marvel, so much Disney and their executives lost sight of when they greenlit all these new damn products and increased the schedule, which we talked about a little bit on the last show right there. That was the problem. Putting that whole quantity over quality badly damages the product every time, which is why I'm very cautious with my own projects of how much content I'm putting out, how often I'm doing the show, how many matches I book on one card, because I don't want that to ever become a question. But I wanted to give a shout out because that Werewolf by Night shit, that's pretty hot. I'll happily tweet about that because that's really, really good. I'm probably gonna maybe invite a date over and go over somebody's house and watch it again on Halloween after I watch The Nightmare Before Christmas, of course, and Edward Scissorhands, because those I gotta watch those first because those are my favorites right there. Yeah, but that's good. And yeah, I just wanted to put that out there.
Fair enough. Mr. Kit Wilson here that we have. Anything you want to say? Any parting comments from you that you wish to discuss?
I've been wanting to discuss SummerSlam predictions, honestly.
Ooh, yes. I like that idea.
Because I've been thinking about Roman versus Jay, and I don't think Jay's going to win. Because I think they spoiled it already.
I want Jay to... I feel like Jay might win. Part of me feels Jay might win.
There's like a spoiler already out there with Roman with the title and Seth Rollins fighting at Survivor Series. Already. There's already a spoiler about it. So I might think Jay will lose because of that, or they could just change it. I don't know.
It makes so much sense in a story to have Jay win. Like, if not Jay, then who?
They're going to say Cody again.
Cody's moment's past. His moment's past.
But like the John Cena, The Rock, they fought, and then they fought the next WrestleMania too.
And everyone hated it.
They're saying that that's the story they're doing. Cody losing the first time, winning the second time.
I said that.
Yeah, well,
I said that as soon as it happened, right there. That was always the plan, right there. They wanted.
Yeah, and that story, and I think Jay should win. Look, the story right now, it's he wanting to be if they're wanting, they can have him win and even have it that he doesn't get the title because he tore up the contract. Therefore, it's not technically sanctioned title match due to it being under, I think it's tribal
which would
rules.
be a double,
So it's
which
extremely-
would be a double troll at the same time. You're like, oh, he won the title, but technically he didn't win the title because it's tribal warfare. Which with
Well,
no
what's better
legally-
than having him lose? What's the point in having him lose? There is no point in him losing.
I didn't say there was. I'm just saying what they're logically out loud what the executives are thinking. I thought Jey Uso could be champion the first time he fought Roman in Hell in a Cell. I said that was one of the best matches I've ever seen from a tag team wrestler doing solo. I like that match. I said there's a reason they technically didn't really have him quit or whatever. They had, him fuck up Jimmy and then threaten him, to bash his head in. So I was like, yes. I was like, Jay can be a solo champion. I've seen that. So it is believable. It ain't like he ain't believable. I'm just saying from the executive standpoint, they're not gonna. In all the polls that I've seen, all over YouTube and Twitter and Threads and every other respectable news source out there, that most people think, because they put it up there, they said, who you think gonna most likely take the title off of Roman? Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and Jay. Jay got about like 35% of the vote, but 58% of the vote went to Cody Rhodes. Most people are still betting their bets on him because the whole narrative is exactly what he keeps saying. It's finish the story. That's what the Nightmare is trying to do. The story ain't technically over until he wins the title because he said that's where the end chapter is. The dream finally fulfilled.
I'd rather have Cody than Jay, to be honest.
See? That right there.
I feel like Jay could win the title, but I don't see him having a long title reign. He would be fairly...
If he does win, then Roman's reign was pretty good.
That will be the biggest upset in the modern history of professional wrestling since Jinder Mahal's bullshit title reign. I still get...
So what I'm hearing is
puking.
I'm the one that wants... I'm the only one that wants Jay to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
The story fits better.
Because he said anything goes. That means Solo can get involved, like always. Jimmy could get involved and cost Jay
like
sometime.
Always.
Or Roman. You never know.
This whole thing has already been written in everybody's head. They already know how it's going to go. The hype is
I'm
just
guessing
better.
it. But they need to stop saying that he has a horrible reign and he can't wrestle and can't defend all the time. He has a contract and everything that says he doesn't have to.
Yeah, Roman is literally on a different level. God mode.
Yeah, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I think that we have to... damn. I lost my damn train of thought there. But yeah, yes. Roman is operating on an entirely different level and has earned that new lazy-ass part-timer status contract that he's riding like hell. Riding like a $15 hooker. But anyway, SummerSlam is going to be a smash-out brawl right there, and I'm ecstatic about it. And I want you as an audience to get excited about it with us, because don't forget, I'll be hosting a live stream SummerSlam weekend as well as this weekend for the Great American Bash before we leave for vacation. So don't forget to tune into that. Both will be awesome, and I can't wait to hear what you think from the live audience, what you think live as the action is going down, because it's going to be crazy. I mean, I'm very excited about that as well. Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes for the NXT Championship. I have never been so Well, let me not say never, but I've never recently been so for a champion losing a title and having a short reign than I am right now. I don't give a fuck what anybody say. I'm a damn mark for Ilya Dragunov right there. He operates on such a different level as a wrestler, as an entertainer, and personally speaking, is a hell of a gentleman outside of the ring as well. He's the epitome of what you really want in a champion. Especially since they keep already putting Carmelo up on main roster TV anyway. It ain't that big of a damn leap to say he can just go. Champion in like 7 months tops. Yes, so I'm hyped. I'm hyped for that.
What about Seth versus Finn again? Round 2.
Technically, no.
How do you think that's gonna go?
Technically, this would be round 3.
Oh, well, in the past month it's 2, but yeah, 3 in all. But how do you think that's gonna go?
Seth retains again. Gets pissed. If I were booking it again, because this is the big moment, I'd have them do what he's the prince, he's Finn Balor, and he's the first leader and the first person to get kicked out of Bullet Club. Make him, well, technically, I guess he's technically the second person, but yeah, second person to get kicked out of the Judgment Day, and have Jordan Devlin take his place. Like, kick him out of the Judgment Day. That's what I would do. That's what I would book.
They're saying that Seth might drop the title because he's injured. I guess his back is, his shoulders, like, or whatever body part is injured. Saying he might drop it to get surgery on his back.
Well,
maybe he might drop it.
Well, if that's the case, okay. Well, if that's the case, it depends which way they want to do it. If that's true, Finn could win it and then just continue on as like a dominant heel champion, which most people would support, and then build up to Damian taking it, cashing in on him, and stealing the spotlight and kicking him out of the Judgment Day. Or which is kind of ridiculous to do it this way, but the alternative could be he still wins the title, but Damian cashes in immediately and then kicks him out right there. Both are good in their own way, but I prefer one over the other for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Either way, they're high on Damian Priest, so I don't think it'll be that much longer until he's a world champion. Which he's earned, because ever since he come up from NXT, he impressed Vince, he's impressed Triple H, he impressed Shawn, he's impressed everybody. Not that he's a bad wrestler anyway. I mean, he's a celebrity who tries to be a wrestler, but he got a epic match out of Bad Bunny. So, they ever since that match, they're like, we got to do something with Damian. That I wouldn't have picked him over LA Knight, but he was the best secondary choice, yes. And I ain't hating on Damian. I'm a fan of Damian Priest right there. Ever since that first feud he had with Pete Dunne down there in NXT right there. That was one of the best triple threat matches I've seen in NXT. NXT TakeOver War Games. I think it was War Games 3. It was third War Games. The triple threat match between Pete Dunne, the Beast of Belfast, Killian Dane, and the Arch of Infamy Damian Priest. I love that match. That is an excellently well done match between 3 phenomenal athletes. Big man, tall man, and then a cruiserweight with technical skills that just out of this universe. That's great right there. The Damian Priest is good, and I'm totally cool if they put the title on him. I won't be frowning about that at all. I'm cool with that. Ooh, just a lot.
About that blood and guts match. How did you? I didn't expect it to bring out the nail bed. And everything. That just made me
I
tense up.
expected some shit like that. You know, there's always.
I didn't. I cringed at it.
It's Moxley.
Couldn't even look
Moxley's
at it.
always trying to do some dumb shit that rivals Abdullah the Butcher.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. I just couldn't watch that part.
I love the violence. I love suffering.
We know you love that dumb shit like Moxley does. We know. Yeah. So with that being said, I loved it overall. Hated the ending because it was just people wimping out at the end. I don't like that in extreme matches. So that's
It
stupid.
looked like they were trying to kill him.
That's kind of the point of Blood and Guts.
Yeah.
It's kind of how War Games work, submission or
I figured
surrender.
that out.
And it makes a nice story, Moxley surrendering on Yuta's behalf because he knows the suffering that will happen when, someone's getting hung by Hangman, considering that's the one time that Mox tapped out, was protecting Yuta. It's a nice story, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, whatever.
And also,
IMHO.
and what makes the violence dumb? That's kind of the point of gory matches. How is it dumb for enjoying the pain that they're performing?
Yeah. The point is right there.
But because
I didn't like that. I don't like whipping out, so I'm just against it. So therefore, whatever. I love the whole Hangman thing because it makes sense. It's an ironic name, but a literal name. I'm okay with that. That's fine. It's just the whole overall match I am happy with. I didn't say anything about not liking the match. I said the one thing that killed it for me was that particular moment when those guys were walking out. That's it. That's all I said. I'm leaving it at that. I'm not debating about it.
You're talking about Takeshita and Pac.
Yes,
because
obviously.
he got hit once.
I think Pac leaving, I'm guessing, is to further the feud between him and Claudio. Takeshita is just...
So they can regulate him to that poor, pathetic excuse for a Ring of Honor that has no direction? What a waste.
Well, hey, it's better than what it was before. Collapsing.
And not even existing.
Yeah. I'd rather it be shit than not exist.
Plus, that Pac-Claudio match was pretty good.
Heck, we got Pac against Gravity on Dynamite.
Anyway, next question. Okay, so what do they need to do with Kevin and Sammy there? Reign has gotten very stale. That is actually a great question. The reign itself has gotten stale. They haven't gotten stale. That's the reason. That's the simplest explanation. But I think that's why for weeks I've been calling for them to, which is why I'm so glad they called up the Creed brothers. I think they should have been done what they did for those other two titles, and they should have separated those championships by now. So that way they don't have to keep doing all these constant different versions of tournaments and, jobbing out all these tag teams that they have in order to just give new opponents to Sammy and Kevin. Each roster, Raw and SmackDown, should, by my count, at least have 8 teams per show to keep the roster fresh. That's the thing about tag team wrestling. There's 4 people involved. So to keep that momentum going, you have to have a constant turnover. Or if you want to do long-term booking for 2 teams to wrestle 2 or 3 times, like they're doing kind of with... that's a perfect example of it. What they're doing with the Alpha Academy and the War Raiders. I will never call them the Viking Raiders. That's fucking stupid. Their NXT name was better. We should keep it that way. Yes, with the War Raiders, that was perfect because they're telling a narrative and constantly giving us a reason to keep investing in it. So that way, by the time we get to the match, we're not too bored. We can still enjoy it and then say, okay, I can't wait to see what they do the next time, even if I have to wait a little bit longer to get to that point. That's the thing. You gotta feed the perfect analogy is you gotta feed me snacks in between meals. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. You got at least 2 gaps between 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock where I have to eat something in between to satisfy and appease my hunger while I wait for the main course to get here. And I think
that's a weird analogy.
Yeah.
Not saying anything wrong with it. This is a weird analogy.
Would never thought of that.
Shut up. Yes. Now, like I was saying, and that's what we got to do so far as Kevin and Sammy is concerned. I don't think it's the right time for them to drop the titles because they haven't built up any other teams. So, no, it's not the right time for that. But by Rumble, we should have some serious opposition. That's why I'm hoping, and I think that's clearly where we're building, but I hope soon that they get Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae and the rest of them back on TV and Tommaso, so that way, we can do the new version of DIY and get to that all-important dream match that people really want to see. By the time WrestleMania season comes around, we're going to have basically a Sammy and Kevin moment all over again, but it'll be with them right there. And I don't think that the NXT hopeful fans who follow main roster and the new main roster fans who are now going to be Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa fans will hate that at all. Because the main goal is to get there to be a team again so they can tell the same narrative on the main roster. Maybe this time in reverse or maybe basically just the same. But either way, people are going to invest in that because that's something that they've never really seen between those two before. So it'll be awesome to get to that point. And that's what they need to do to get that stale taste out of the audience's mouth right there. Because, frankly, aside from those 2 dream matches they had with Walter, I haven't been feeling the reign as of late either. Another statement. Okay, he said, Uncle underscore Daddy says, Pretty Deadly or Alpha Academy is the only ones I could see taking the titles off them. That is good. Exactly right. They're building up Pretty Deadly as they should because yes, boys, I'm all in on them. I'm in on them. I love Pretty Deadly, and everybody who knows me knows I'm a fan. I love Pretty Deadly, but also Alpha Academy. I'm a fan of them as well. But specifically, as you know, Chad Gable. Everyone's a fan of Chad Gable. I don't think I've ever met anyone that hates on Chad Gable simply because he can have a great match with anybody. And I think
catchphrases. Oh, thank you.
That was horrible. You sound nothing like him. Anyway, you like it?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, about him, I think they should be focusing more on moving him past tag teams. If you could keep him with Otis, I don't have a problem with that. But keep him with the Academy, but move him towards a solo position. Maybe not, I can't put him against Walter for the obvious reasons, which is why I think I'm not going to advocate for Walter to necessarily lose to Drew, but somehow Walter got to clear the decks so that way Chad can move up in the ranks a little bit right there. That's why I was so glad that Mustafa Ali went down to NXT so he could finally get what he was never guaranteed. Because you think about Chad and Mustafa Ali, they've basically been in the same position since they both got there. The only difference between Chad Gable, Cedric Alexander, and Mustafa Ali is one thing. 2 of them have actually won some sort of title. They've been tag team champions at some point. Mustafa Ali ain't got shit since he started working there. He's been working there for well over, I think, the Cruiserweight Classic was 2015, something like that. So, math is about 25, so about 8 or 9 years now he's been working there and ain't got shit. That's pathetic. And personally speaking, what I would have did, WrestleMania 34, one of the best WrestleManias in my opinion. I love that WrestleMania. I would have had Mustafa Ali go over and be Cruiserweight champion. That 054 sold on me every time. And had some of the best, to be honest with you, had some of the best gimmicks I've ever seen. It's just all them damn start pushes with that Vince booking. That was stick. You had a good story, stick to it and tell it. That's the problem with a lot of writers and a lot of creative people. They have a project, they invest in it, and they never keep it going. They just stop it. Like a good TV show. You're like, this show only got to season 2. How is that possible? It's a great show. Where's the rest of it? Yeah, so that's where I'm at with the tag teams. And a little extra background on some other characters. This is good. Feel free to keep it going. It's a great conversation so far.
What about the women's division? Who do you see
Try to wrap
as
it up in the next 10 minutes.
Take Rhea Ripley? Who do you think will be the next in line after Rhea?
Say what?
Who do you think will be next in line to take the title off of Rhea Ripley in the future?
Rhea.
Yeah. After Rhea.
After Rhea, the next person in line to take the title off Rhea. To be honest with you, I haven't thought about that because it's the same reasoning as the tag teams, but even less because I've seen there's even less investment in her title than there is in the tag team titles. I've seen nobody that's worthy of taking that title off her. Then that's really saying something, which is unfortunate. I think what I would do if her injury is solved by then, I don't know. But I would do my 2 picks. I would pick Candice LeRae after the DIY thing has started, and Dakota Kai. I would have her come back and try to solve the damage control issue. But if they end up breaking up, she goes solo right there. That's her chance to do her own little character arc. And keep in mind, I think they face each other, and I don't think she's ever beaten Rhea. So I think that's an easy narrative to tell. And people would support her because they naturally... the Dakota Kai just has a natural way of being liked by fans. I think that'll sustain her. And... oh, yes. Also, I was going to say that as well. I didn't count her because of the current storyline she's in right now, which is I'm invested in. People know I'm a big fan of her. Shayna Baszler. Yes, she also makes the most sense because if you want to tell those old stories, and I think Triple H does and should, because you got to give people a reason to invest, I think, yes, it would make perfect sense for Shayna Baszler to take the title off Rhea Ripley. Rhea Ripley took the NXT Women's Championship off of Rhea Ripley. That's one of the 4 out of the 5 times that they got to over 1 million views for NXT was the night that Rhea took that title off her. So that's a big deal, and I would support that as well. That's a good idea. Thank you for that. That's a very good idea. Thank you for bringing that up. And having her kick Ronda Rousey's ass is the perfect way to get her back to the submission magician we know from NXT. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the real Shayna Baszler to show up in WWE. Sorry about that. This is good. This is a very, very productive talk. Whew. I'm gonna run out of air talking about all this shit. Thank you for your...
oh, wait, here's a thing about the recent things with Bobby Lashley on SmackDown.
That is something I think they've been building to for a long time. I've been calling for. Because Bobby ain't had shit to do even before WrestleMania. He won a damn trophy that hasn't meant shit ever. So, so with that being said, that's perfect. And I think now we're finally going to get a chance to see, because they haven't never done this on NXT or main roster. We've never seen what the Street Profits would look like as a heel. I'm interested to see how they write them as a heel, because they're already turning the Bianca Belair heel. You can see that. Bianca was a heel when she first got there, and she seems more like a Well, I don't want to say she's a natural heel because in reality, I know she's a very, very good person. She's a very, very kind person. I don't want to talk shit about people that are good. But her personality kind of, with all her accomplishments, comes off as kind of more like a heel. So I'm all in on that idea as well. And if it works out, they could be the ones to take the title off Sammy and Kevin. See, that's another way to do it. It all has to connect somehow. There's no point in putting these characters on TV and making them out to be the shit and the best thing ever if it doesn't mean that they're not capable of achieving their end goals right there. That's why every wrestler and every character and every team needs a mission statement of their own. Like, what are we setting out to do? And if we accomplish those goals, what's next? You gotta always be answering those kind of questions when dealing with those kind of characters. Yeah. That's a good question now. Thank you. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, right there, we've been on and popping for over an hour and a half right there. So I think this is a good place, a nice stopping point for us here. But I sincerely want to say thank you for helping to make it this successful. This has been a very, very interesting and productive talk. I hope that in you listening to me, you gained a little bit of knowledge yourself, maybe found some new viewpoints or thought of some new ideas or some new questions to ask. Maybe some other friends, you might be able to stomp them. But I really want to say thank you. We do it all for you. It's all with love. Wrestling is now officially, because of me, a labor of love. And I hope you felt that. And we thank you. We thank you. We love you. And from all of us here at EKB Productions, we want you to keep being in the loop. We want you to keep and stay involved. Like, share, subscribe, comment, share Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, wherever you think people will like or want to get this type of content. If you want to get involved in what we do, remember to reach out to us, DM us, Discord, Xbox, PlayStation Network, Facebook, wherever you can find us. Just add us or drop a comment down below, and we'll be here for you. So from all of us here, we thank you, we love you, God bless you, good night, and good fights.